That's kicking.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome back to Rocky Top Sports Talk. This is your boy Coach Rice. On this episode, we're going to be diving into it. We got several things that we got to get to. I'll go ahead and bring in my boys Joey and Tom in here. This will be a little shorter show than what we normally do. We normally go about an hour. This will be about 40 to 45 minutes. And I know it's mid afternoon, so if you can, just watch it on the rewatch. If you like the content, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content, as well as follow us on Rock Top Sports Talk page on Facebook, and then on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, at Rocky Top Talks One. I post on there on both places whenever we go live, and then obviously once football season gets going, we'll get the thing. I'll start posting a little bit more stuff. But big news come out today. Arion Carter suspension reduced to one game. I saw where Volquest put out a statement about it, and then Danny White actually put out a broad statement about it, about Arion Carter, his suspension being reduced from 2 games to 1 game, which this is actually the second reduction because it originally was 3 games. So, big news coming out of the day for Tennessee football, having Arion Carter for that Georgia Tech game. Obviously, he'll miss Furman, but how much would he have really played in Furman? You want to get those young guys, Braden Rouse and TJ White, Edwin Spillman, all that run where you can kind of let Jeremiah T. Lander and Amari Campbell and Arion Carter to kind of, just kind of get the year started, knock off some rust, and then be ready to go for Georgia Tech. So, Joey, I'm going to start off with you. What's your thoughts? I know Tom and you have both, we've talked about in the chat, uh, had several thoughts about this. What's your thoughts about Aaron Carter's suspension being reduced to 1 game?
You know, I'm stoked about it. First off, because Georgia Tech is a pretty tough game when it comes to them running the ball, and we're definitely gonna need our guy, the leader of the defense. I fully expect him to be the leader of the defense. He was last year. I don't
Yeah,
know why it would be any different this year. Uh, but that's huge news for that game. But just the landscape of college football, obviously, is
yeah,
just crazy. And for them to even suspend him, even though I get people do things wrong, but I believe he done it right. He did what he was supposed to do. He self-reported it, and he paid for the money back that he made and that was received and all that. So just I think the whole thing's silly, just to be honest with you, and just the landscape that we're in college sports. So uh, I I I'm thrilled that we're going to have him back, and I'm kind of like you. He probably didn't need to play that first game. We're
yeah,
notorious for losing big
yeah.
players in games that don't matter. We need him fresh and ready to go against Texas. I know, yes, I want him to play against uh, Georgia Tech, but that Texas game means everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
uh, that's
It's a
that's my take on it.
Yeah, and him, being able to knock that rust off against a physical team like Georgia Tech, being able to be full go the rest of the year. And you're right. I mean, just names like Cedric Tillman come to my mind against these low,
Yeah.
group of 5 teams, where you lose a star and then you don't have him for SEC play. So, Tom,
Absolutely.
Tom, what before I get to you, Joey, I sent you a text. See if you can add that graphic into the and underneath there so I can put it up on the screen. Tom, what's your thoughts on the Arion Carter suspension being reduced to 1 game?
Well, I love that it was reduced to 1 game, but I don't think they got a leg to stand on as far as anything that they try to
Yeah,
do nowadays. I mean, they really don't. You got guys coming back that have made pro money. How are you going to suspend a kid for self-reporting? Just like Joey was saying, he did everything right. Uh, this is look. I'm all for bringing everything back to amateurism, complete, total amateurism. But this is one of those things where even 20 years ago, if a guy had done something like this, I'd have been 100% against his suspension, because how are you going to suspend a guy for doing everything right? It's literally that simple. He
yeah,
did every single thing right by the book. And you meanwhile
yeah,
got guys that are coming back after they made what, 40, 50 grand off of paychecks from pro teams. Like, this is wild. It burn it all down and start over, bro. I'm at that point. But I love it that we're gonna have him back, because you just hit the nail on the head a second ago. We're gonna need him to get unrusty. Not that he'd
Yeah.
really be that rusty, but I mean, we need him to get 100% ready by the end of the Georgia Tech game, and that's going to be a good sharpening your iron against a team like that, because Georgia Tech's going to run it, 45, 50, 60 times, whatever. I mean, hell, Haynes King ran it for 25 carries 1 game last year. That's insane how much they run it.
yeah, yeah. And you're spot on. I mean, Georgia Tech is a very, very physical team. They lean on the run game. I know, obviously, their OC went to Florida with John Summerall,
Yeah.
and you don't know exactly what they'll do, but I do know Brent Key, who's the
Yep.
head coach at Georgia Tech. He's a former offensive lineman himself from Georgia Tech. He's going to lean on the run game. That's what they do. They preach physicality. So every defensive physical specimen we have, like Aaron Carter, we're going to need to play really, really good in that game. Um, Now, offensively, I think we'll put up a lot of points on them, but defensively, that's where you need everybody, all hands on deck.
Yep.
Um,
They are going to
I
be very
think,
good.
uh, yeah, they'll be very fundamentally sound and very technique wise, uh, and in the run game, using motion and play action and RPOs to get our young defensive line and linebackers and secondary to try to take a misstep and get them in the wrong place. Um, but I mean, I think overall it's great news. You kind of spoke on it. Both of you actually did. Excuse me. About the how he got the suspension with the agent and the plane ticket and all that. With today's, where we are in college sports, it shouldn't be the case. He shouldn't be he shouldn't be suspended at all.
Yep.
The NCAA is trying to stand on a hill and say this is our final stand. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna work out. In the they have nothing to really stand on. They've lost so much, authority in the game. No one respects them. So
And
at
who better
least
to do it against than Tennessee?
yeah, yeah,
They
and
hate
they got a
Tennessee.
black eye on Tennessee. So, but I do like what the Big Ten and SEC
Yeah.
came out with today
Yeah.
about not allowing NFL players to come
Yeah.
back. Now I know I
Yep.
still like the 5-for-5 rule. I do like it, but if you've signed an NFL contract or practiced with an NFL team, you cannot come back. I don't care what your situation is. Although I'd love to have Jackson Moy back, but it's across college sports. I don't want if you've practiced with the NFL and taken money from the NFL, you do not need to be back on a college sideline. I mean
Agree.
it's just
Yep.
too much.
Now
You're
I'll say this. I'll say this. I have nothing wrong with people seeing where they stand, going through the
Yeah.
draft process, I think that's only fair. Like if they're
Yeah,
not
I do
gonna
too.
now, I'm not. I wouldn't go as far as saying entering the draft. If you enter the draft, I think you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
To
yeah,
me. But to see where you stand, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jay Rice. Believe Admiral Schofield did this a few years ago
yeah,
before his senior season at Tennessee. He kind of seen where he was going to land and if he could come back. I have no problem with that. I completely understand that.
Yep.
And they may tell you, hey, another year would do you unbelievable. So stay another year and gain what you need and experience and play time and all that. So I have no problem with that. But as far as like signing contracts and even being on a practice team, the practice
yeah,
squads, no way, bro.
yeah.
No
Well,
way.
see, and see, this is the only thing difference that from what you just said. I would even go as far as letting them enter in the draft. And if they don't get drafted, before you go, hey, before you go to a practice squad, you can check. You say, all right,
Yep.
instead of doing that,
Yeah,
let's
I can
stay
get
in
with that.
college.
Yeah, I
If
can
you
get with
don't get
that.
drafted, now if you get drafted, obviously you go to the NFL.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have the choice. Do I want to go the practice squad route or do I want to go back to college? If
Right.
you
Yep.
sign any contract at all, a practice squad contract, any contract with the NFL at all, no, you cannot come back.
Yeah.
That's when you get the final no. So, but with all that being said, it's football time. I'm sick and
Woo!
tired of talking about courtrooms,
Yeah.
legalities, and all that. I'm ready for football.
Yes,
Ball
sir.
between the white lines, and
Yep.
let's let the physicality of the game take itself out, not the courtroom. So,
Yep. Yep.
um, so next breaking news we had, obviously this came out yesterday. So breaking to the channel, but it's first time we had a chance to go live. But Faizon Brandon, QB1. Did you get that up? Yeah, there it is. Faizon Brandon, QB1. Josh Heupel came out yesterday in his press conference, had already spoke with the team, spoke with the coaches, talked to GMAC, talked to Faizon and Ryan Staub there, let them know that Faizon was going to be the quarterback to begin the year. And hopefully, throughout the rest of the year, depending on how things go, injuries happen, and or maybe, I don't want this to happen, but the game was just too big for Faison, which I don't think is going to be the case. I think this dude is a player. I think he's a gamer, and I think he's ready to attack the challenge of the
Mm-hmm.
ACC schedule. Obviously, he'll make mistakes. He's a freshman, but I think with that gives him a longer leash than what a
Mm-hmm.
junior would say. He wouldn't have as long of a leash. But Joey, we all know through the channel, the other videos we talked about, you were a GMAC guy, but you've always stated whoever Josh Heupel decides, that's who you'll roll with. You want him to be successful and win games for the Power T. So,
For
what's
sure.
your thoughts on Faizon Brandon being named QB1?
I have first of all, I have zero problem with dude being the starting quarterback.
Yeah,
That's never been an issue for me. I'm just a GMAC guy. Uh,
yeah,
as I've stated many times, I watched many of his high school games, so I'm a fan. I like the kid. I don't. He hasn't really been given a fair shot. Not by Heifel or in this quarterback competition. He had every opportunity to win this
yeah,
quarterback competition. Not saying that, dude. I'm just saying, dude has had in his 4 years of high school and 2 years of college ball, he's had five offensive coordinators.
yeah,
So dude's had a lot, and he was still a 5-star quarterback. And some people say, he didn't fare well in high school. Y'all should have seen his offensive line. Bro
yeah,
was running for his life. But
yeah,
that's besides the point. So I'm just a fan of GMAC. I have no problem. I have zero problems with Faison. I'm rolling with him. I'm for him. Do I think he's the end all be all? It kind of scares me a little bit that Heupel said he gets. This is what I read, that he said he gets the nod game one. Kind of
yeah,
scares me a little bit. Hopefully that's just him being PR trained. I don't know. I don't like that comment. I don't like
Yeah.
that comment at all. I would rather one of these ran off with the quarterback competition. Listening to Eric Ainge, that just wasn't the case. Neither one of them ran off with anything. Now, do I believe Faison is way more talented? I'm not going to say way more talented. I do believe he's a freak athlete. Uh, but my concern with that is, dude injured his hand first game of the year, his high school senior season, because of running the ball so much. So
Yeah.
that I'm not fond of that fact, and uh, I hope though I mean our offensive line is ranked top 5 in the country, so I'm hoping we're going to be good there, and his runs will be not stuff up the middle. Let's get him to the outside and pick up some first downs and stuff like that. There's no need for him to run short yardage.
Yeah.
Reason I say that is we have one of the best backfields in the nation. I don't care what
Bingo.
anybody says. Deshaun Bishop got hosed in preseason watch list. Everybody knows it. Everybody agrees with it. He got hosed because he wears the color orange. Um, so let the dude throw the ball. That's my thing. Let him throw the ball.
I got you. I feel you. I agree with you. And he wants to be known as a throw first quarterback. He just wants to. Well, I guess Tom left us. He's probably going inside to his house because obviously y'all seen he's been in the car. But I like his ability. There's several things that he brings to the table. Now, obviously, I've loved what I've heard from GMAC. There he is. I've heard from about GMAC that he played a really good fall camp. He practiced, did his due diligence in the film room and, trying to add weight. That was kind of the X red flag on him there for a while.
Yep.
But, you could see it. He was putting on body weight, doing his due diligence there. And I fully feel like even with Faison being named QB1, I think this is where GMAC and Austin Price has talked about several times. He has to stay locked in because you
Yeah.
never know when someone will get injured. And if he doesn't get injured and, Faison goes off and does great things, in games like Furman, Kennesaw State, and so forth, where GMAC gets an opportunity and mop time, he has to put on some good film and tape if he wants to transfer.
Yep.
That's Austin Price has talked about that. This it's a year by year basis now in college football. If you want to transfer, you have to stay locked in. You cannot just derail and say, "Oh well, I'm not QB1. There's no reason to me staying engaged." Well, that's not the case. For one, your number could be called at any second. And
Yep.
then number two, in mop duty, if you plan on transferring at the end of the year, you have to have film because they don't go off hearsay she say.
Yeah.
You have to have the credibility and the evidence there saying, "Hey, I did this in NCAA, at the NCAA level." To where you can trust me being your quarterback. So, Tom, what's your thoughts? I know you were kind of back and forth. You said GMAC, but you also said Faison. You like what both of them kind of did. Um, I know for me and Big Mike, who isn't on today, we were both Faison guys. Like I said again, I've respected everything G Mac does, and I hope he stays at Tennessee because I think he is super talented. So, Tom, I can't tell if you're muted or not. I can't hear you.
I shouldn't be anymore.
Um, you may have to disconnect from your radio. Uh, I don't know if because we can't hear you. While you're trying
How
to
about
get
now?
that figured out,
I
let me
got him.
say it again. Can you hear him?
Yeah, I hear him.
Oh, nice.
Tom, back out and come back in. I don't feel like doing that again, trying to tell Joey that Tom needs to talk.
Yeah.
But, just giving you my spiel on what I feel like of Faison. I feel like he's going to be um, someone that we can lean on early on the season in the season to get us out of bad running situation. Down the goal line. I know you said you don't want him to run the ball, but that 11th player makes so much difference for defenses to kind of keep accountable of.
Yeah. I don't.
So
It's more of like a Hendon Hooker. We had designed runs for him around in the red zone and stuff, but like
yeah,
he made plays out of busted coverages and or out of when nobody was open. I'm all
yeah,
for that. I'm all for that where he's not running into a crowd of people. I'm all for that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Tom. So,
Nice. Nice.
go ahead, and give me your thoughts on QB1 Faizon Brandon.
Well, I'm glad that they made a decision, but like Joey was saying, the wording on what he said the other day just kind of ticked me off. But that's just another, thing in a long line of Hype getting on my nerves about stuff sometimes here and there. But no, I want GMAC to stay, man, because I think I was texting with y'all about this the other night when we got our text thread going on. I think McIntyre, because of what you said a few minutes ago, Joey, about him having what 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators, terrible
Yeah,
offensive line when he was in high school, still putting up hella numbers. He's the kind of guy, what with his weight being, it is what it is. He's 6'6". He could
yep,
be I don't know, he could be 215 and still look like he's skinny as a bean. But
right.
I think he's the kind of guy, man, if you keep him around and he really wants to be at Tennessee, because I think he really does want to be at Tennessee in an era that most of the time kids are just going somewhere for the money. And it's sad that that's the way it is. But I think he does want to be at Tennessee. I think if you hang on to him for another 2 seasons, and let's say, I hope this happens, man, but let's say Mr. Faison becomes, Mr. Olympic, and he just absolutely kills it for 2 years, and he's gone after his sophomore season. I don't even know if that's a possibility, what with the draft rules and all
It's
that
gonna
stuff.
be Junior.
Yeah. So, I mean, he could be that guy that as a senior, 5th year senior, whatever, he comes back and he has the 6'6", 240, 235 frame, and he's been putting in the effort, putting in the time with Josh Heupel and learning the system, and just all of a sudden, his last year of eligibility, he's a freak. And he just destroys defenses, I mean, can pick them apart, that kind of thing. Like, he could be that kind of a guy that you just, hey, you got to put your time in, brother. Some guys got it on day one, and some guys got it in year 5.
Yep,
Like, and it's no disrespect to it. And that's like one of the biggest things that when I was coaching and playing still, guys would get pissed, man. Like, you should get pissed if you get passed on the depth chart because it's just a personal thing. Like, you're there to be the best. There is no ifs, ands, or buts getting around that. You're there to be the best.
Yeah,
But it's not the end of the world if you do get passed up by somebody, even if they're younger. Because, like you said, knock on wood, but there's injuries, there's bogus NCAA suspensions nowadays. You never know what could happen. If you're George McIntyre, just bide your time, put your work in, keep your head down, and just be the workaholic that he's going to need to be. I kind of figured that was who he was going to need to be anyway coming into all this when we were following his recruitment a couple years ago, because y'all are looking at the guy that was getting ready to put on, Merkman for Heisman stuff because I like Jake Merklinger, and he had balls to go in behind Merklinger, who was also behind Nico at the time still. You're going to have to work when you're behind a highly rated 4-star out of Georgia, which really is a 5-star in most places anyway, because it's Georgia. I think Merklinger came out of one of those really competitive Georgia high schools. And you've also got to know that you got your work ahead of you, what with being behind 2 guys, Nico and George. Like, it's just, if he puts in the time, he could be a really, really good quarterback and even a draft prospect. Look at what
yeah,
Heupel did with, and I'm not the biggest Heupel fan, but look at what he's done with quarterbacks. Look at what he does with quarterbacks. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and I fully agree with you. I think you look at Joe Milton, what he's doing, he and then Hendon Hooker, I just don't think he's been given a fair shot
He has
in the
not.
NFL. That torn ACL just changed his whole life.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you look at what GMAC Faizon's situation is, you can kind of hoping, that GMAC and Faison turn into a Joe and Hendon Hooker situation where Joe may not have won the QB1 thing, but he sticks around, learns the offense. Now, obviously, they were best friends, so that's a little different. But someone that you can, hey, he's there if someone, Faison gets hurt, he's ready to go. And then, as the season goes, you see how it plays out. It's just part of football. You
Right.
always have to have a next man up mentality.
Mhm.
Nobody wants injuries, but it happens. It's football. And so, I think I fully believe in my, with everything I know about GMAC, just from people, the professional people like Austin Price that know GMAC, he's going to put his head down, like Tom said, keep working, keep grinding, keep trying to get better day in and day out, each rep, and be the best teammate he could be. I really do believe that. So, uh, you know, with all that being said, Faison is QB1.
Yep.
What now? Now that we know QB1, Joey, what do you think? And the team probably knew it from the beginning, or not from the beginning, before, everyone else, maybe through practice reps or something else, or how the scrimmages went or whatever. How do you think the team is reacting now that they know their cute quarterback, they know who the starter is? What do you expect from their reaction and the games going forward?
I mean, I think the team's going to rally around him for sure. And I think you've seen a few of the comments by a few people said he was kind of like Lamar trying to tackle Lamar Jackson,
I hope so,
which
man.
I stand by my statement the other night. Anybody was like tackling Lamar Jackson according to our defense last year because it was atrocious.
Yeah,
I stand by that statement.
yeah,
But nonetheless, I really do wish nothing but the best for him, and I believe the guys are going to rally around him, and he'll be successful for sure. Um, week one, week two against a little bit more of a quality opponent. We'll
yep,
see. Week three, we drop back down, but then week four, it's SEC time, and
yep,
Texas is who Texas is, man. Their daggone front line is rated one of the top in the country, so he's going to be thrown to the wolves real quick. I was looking back at the stats a while ago. Again, you don't wish anybody to get hurt, but Joe Milton went down against Pittsburgh in the second half, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Maybe was it the second half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
So
right
that's
there, first or second play of the third, or no, it was right at the end of the first half.
okay. So that was the second game of the season, and we rode Hooker for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
yep.
So I mean, such is life.
yeah,
I hope he doesn't feel like he has to win the game because if they could impart to him, look, man, you're very physically talented and you're obviously
Right.
smart. You can pick up the system, but you don't have to win these games. Like you can absolutely rely on your teammates, and I really hope that they get the team around him that that's the kind of guys that are also going to tell him every day until it becomes just a naturally ingrained thing in his mind.
Yeah.
I can go make one or two really great plays at perfect moments, but I don't have to win the game. Like If you have that pressure on you, what is he, 18? He isn't even 19 yet.
Yeah, he's 18. He
Yeah, he
actually
just
Yeah,
turned 18.
just turned 18.
as an 18-year-old man in big boy SEC football, can you imagine just for a second, like put yourself in the shoes of somebody that thinks they got to win the game every game, or I've got to do this, and just putting that undue pressure on themselves versus how smooth and much more efficient you're going to be with the football, not feeling that way and knowing, yeah, man, I got Deshaun Bishop behind me. I got Ethan Davis as my security blanket. I got a hellacious offensive line that's going to keep me, tight in the pocket. And I don't have to roll out every daggone play because I'm scrambling for my life. But if one gets busted, or if you see a golden opportunity on one of my favorite Hendon Hooker plays, 3rd and 18 against Florida, or 3rd and 13 against Florida, and he picks up, what was it, like 35 yards with his
Yeah,
legs. I mean,
yeah.
Down the
just
sideline. Yep.
Down the sideline.
tremendous
Yep.
play. Yeah, absolute awesome play. And it was because he was getting the good protection. He was making the easy throws, and also that other throw that wasn't so easy, the diving one. But great day. I mean, that kind of stuff. If he can play like that and play smooth because he doesn't feel like he's got to do it all, he's going to
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
I mean,
real.
I'm right there with you. I think I was watching Crane and Cone. I don't know if y'all watch them. They're
I
part of
do
On Three.
sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty good. They're all three former college football players, but they all said the same thing Tom is saying. You don't like the label game manager. I see where Michael is in the comments talking about game manager. Nico was a game manager. Quarterbacks don't like that thrown at them, but at the same time, I feel like Faison's got the athleticism enough, and I think he's a game changer that can make plays when it breaks down. But they were talking about on Crane Company that or Crane and Cone that he's got weapons around him. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Steve Wiltfong, I mean not Steve Wiltfong, um, all Ari and Andy on three as well were saying the same thing that they have weapons. Tennessee has what they got 1,000-yard rusher. They have a stable of other running backs. They got two of the top wide receivers in the SEC returning. They got Crane and Cone said probably the top offensive line in the nation, if not top five, if not the top offensive line in the nation. Talented tight end room. He does not have to go out like Tom said and win games. He just has to don't make mistakes. A plethora of mistakes. He's a freshman. He will make a mistake,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but compound those mistakes, and then let your super talented team and a coach that knows how to get quarterbacks in the right spot um, just trust the game, let the game play out, and trust your talent. They were all saying that, and I fully agree with them. Anything you want to add on to that, Joey?
No, yeah. I mean, dude, turn around and hand the ball off.
Yeah,
Like 60% of your job this year is going to be to turn around and hand the ball off. I mean, I fully expect to see a bunch of short passes, those stop routes, the hitches, the slants across. Like that, I fully expect to see a lot of those early, just to get him comfortable, his feet under him, and that's the typical Josh Heupel game plan. Everybody knows it at
yeah,
this point.
Yep.
Uh, but if I'm happy about anything, is we're fixing hopefully have this dude for 3 years, at the most, or at the least for 3 years. Hypo hadn't had a chance to have that yet, so I'm excited. He had Dylan Gabriel at UCF. He started as a freshman. He wasn't the game one starter. He came in and then finished the season. So I believe dude's going to be legit. I never thought he wouldn't be legit, But yeah, he don't have to pressure himself into being a hero. Uh, these people talking like he's the end all be all. He don't need to be that yet. He
No.
don't have to be that yet. This Tennessee team, especially the offense, is uber talented.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm excited to see the matchups between Ethan Davis and Deshaun Brain
Yeah.
against some of these. I mean, I'm not Josh Heupel and I'm not Joey Halsley. I'm not those guys, but my God, the matchups against linebackers with those two,
Yeah.
this this should be lethal. It should be absolutely unreal. So dude, he's got a winning team around him. I agree. He don't have to feel that pressure. Go out there and if you want to call it a game manager or whatever, he's way better than Nico. So we should be way better than that team. And we
Yeah.
went to a darn playoff game.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And the difference is maybe that you'd say the defense isn't as as what it was then, but I feel like
Yeah,
there's all the potential in the world for it to be like that.
Yeah.
You just got to hope some of these young guys on defense step up, and the secondary that you've brought in and these coaches gel well together. Which everything sounds like they have, but
yeah.
that we have to see it on game day. We have to see it in between the white lines. So, Tom, let me get your final thoughts. Just what you feel like this means for Tennessee. You got a true freshman starting the year out at quarterback, and what it means for Tennessee going forward uh, from this year and the years after that.
Well, that kind of ties in a little bit to what I was saying a minute ago. In like, it could go one of two ways. It could be, hey, we're kind of uptight because we got two guys that could be holding the reins that have never done it before, or it could be, look, man, let's play fast and loose and let it all hang out, baby. I mean, I I remember following the recruitment for Ains and Brent Schaefer. I mean, this was when all of this silly garbage was not going on with all the. I mean, you really had to keep up with your recruiting stuff, and I was so
Yeah.
excited to watch two freshmen go at it. And fortunately, that year we did go back to all the home games, and I mean, literally, you could just watch the progression, like the UNLV game. They both split time, and they probably could have scored a few more times if they had stuck with one guy. But they're trying to look at both of them, and they did play fast and loose though. I mean, as far as within the context of former, and that era not being fast and loose with what it is now, you know what I'm saying? But if they have that mentality that's like, look, baby, it's all good, like you're gonna go out there and you're gonna do a Brett Favre where you're scrambling around because you got chased out and you see a guy that ran a deep outpost to the opposite side of the field and he looks open as heck. But by the time you throw that thing 45 yards across the field, that DB just dropped up underneath it, and you're gonna, something like that's gonna happen. But just take care of the football, and if the team responds well to guys putting it all on the field and saying, "Look, dude, we lost today by 3 points to a hell of a Texas team that's probably going to win the conference," that's not bad, and you rebound from something like that if it even happens that way. And if they start 3-0, roll Auburn, just roll them. You never know what could happen in Neyland, man. I mean that, or I'm sorry, that's the week before. So I mean, if they roll Georgia Tech, excuse me, and they absolutely crush them like gravel, and they get some really good momentum going into Neyland in the Texas game, that could be something, And if having a freshman at quarterback hypes them up, maybe they're stoked as heck to have a freshman at quarterback. Maybe everybody's like, you know what, this dude is a real baller. And you could say that about a lot of guys that come out of high school that go to these big schools like Tennessee or Ohio State or wherever. But what if he really is just that talented and he's that smart and he's that cool and collected? Like that could be something really special to watch. It really could. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to be there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel like the team is excited.
Yeah.
Just listen to the wide receivers, listen to some of the guys in their press conferences they had. They're excited. So I feel like as a fan base, we're a lot. All we've all been kind of steady waiting it out because we know what happened with Nico, but we're amped up and ready to see what this kid is going to be like for Tennessee this year and moving forward. So, um, like I said, this was going to be a shorter show, but want to come on talk about Arion Carter, that situation, and then the QB1 situation being, confirmed. Faizon Brandon is going to be your Tennessee Vols quarterback. Let me say this again. Go follow us on Facebook, Rock Top Sports Talk, Twitter or X, Rock Top Talks One, and then on follow us on subscribe to us on YouTube if you like the content and give us a thumbs up. From Joey, from Rocky Top Tom, we love it. We ready for fall football season,
Yes,
and we will
sir.
have a preview show of the Furman game coming up very soon. And it's go time, baby. It's
Yep.
all big orange. So
Yeah.
y'all have a blessed day and go big orange.
Go
Go Big
Vols.
Orange.